one could not surrender. Which one we should tell them? The cat would not go on. Could we not both speak at the same time? An excellent idea. I nearly always speak at the same time as other people. Do you take the time for me? Certainly. Your Christian names are still in the Super Bowl buried. That is all.
Our Christian names? Is that all? Well, we are going to be christened this afternoon.
For me, you're prepared to do this kind of thing?
I am.
To please me, you're ready to face this fearful ordeal?
I am.
Darling.
Darling. Good heavens.
What does this mean? Merely that I'm engaged to marry Mr. Worthington. Come here. Sit down. Apprised, sir, of my daughter's sudden flight, I followed her at once by a luggage train. Her unhappy father is, I am glad to say, under the impression that she is attending more than usually lengthy lecture. I do not propose to undeceive him, but you will clearly see that all communications between my daughter and yourself will cease immediately from this moment.
I am engaged. Just Gwendolyn, Lady Bracknell.
You, sir, are nothing of the kind. And now, as regards to Algernon. Algernon.
Yes, Aunt Augusta.
Is it in this house that your invalid friend, Mr. Bunbury, resides?
Bunbury? Oh, no. Bunbury doesn't live here. Bunbury is somewhere else at present. In fact, Bunbury's dead.
Dead? When did Mr. Bunbury die? His death must have been extremely sudden.
Bunbury? Oh, I killed Bunbury this afternoon. I mean, Bunbury. This afternoon.
What did Mr. Bunbury die of?
Bunbury? Oh, he was quite exploded.
Exploded? Was he the victim of a revolutionary outrage?
No, I mean, he was found out. The doctors found out that Bunbury could not live, so Bunbury died.
Well, I must say, he seems to have great confidence in the opinions of his physicians. I'm glad, however, that he made up his mind to relax some definite course of action and acted under proper medical advice. And now that we have finally got rid of this Mr. Bunbury, Mr. Worthing, who is that young person whose hand my nephew is holding in what seems to me a peculiarly unnecessary manner?
That lady is Miss Cecily Cardew, my ward. I'm engaged to Cecily, Aunt Augusta.
I beg your pardon. Mr. Montpellier, engaged to be married. I do not know whether there is anything peculiarly exciting in the air of this particular part of Hertfordshire, but the number of engagements that goes on seems to me to be considerably above the proper average. Mr. Worthing, is Miss Cardew at all connected to any of the larger railway stations in London? Until yesterday, I had no idea there was anyone whose origins were Greenwich.
Miss Cardew is the granddaughter of the late Mr. Thomas Cardew of 149 Belgrave Square, Gervais Park, Dorking, Surrey, and the Sparrow Lecture.
That sounds not unsatisfactory. 3 addresses always inspire confidence. But what proof have I of their authenticity?
Miss Cardew's family solicitors are Messrs. Markby, and Markby.
Markby, and Markby? A firm of the very highest position in their profession. So far, I'm satisfied.
That is very kind of you, Lady Bracknell. I also have in my possession, you'll be pleased to hear, certificates of Miss Cardew's birth, baptism, whooping cough, vaccination, confirmation, and the measles, both the English and German varieties.
Ah, a life proud of enthusiasm next week. Though perhaps somewhat too exciting for a young girl. Gwendolyn, the time approaches for our departure. We have not a moment to lose. As a matter of form, Mr. Worthing, I'd better ask, does Miss Cardew have any little fortune?
Oh, about 130,000 pounds in the funds. That's all. Goodbye, Lady Bracknell. So pleased to see you.
A moment, Mr. Worthing. 130,000 pounds? And in the funds? Miss Cardew seems to me a most attractive young lady, now that I look at her. Come over here, dear. Yes, your dress is sadly simple, and your hair seems almost as nature might have left it. But we can soon alter all that. Turn around, sweet child. No, the side view is what I want. Yes, quite as I expected. There are distinct social possibilities in your profile. The chin a little higher, dear. Style largely depends on the way the chin is worn, and at present they are worn quite high. Algernon?
Yes, Aunt Augusta.
There are distinct social possibilities in Miss Cardew's profile.
Cecily is the sweetest, dearest,
prettiest girl in the whole world. And I don't care tuppence about social possibilities.
Never speak disrespectfully of society, Algernon. Only people who can get into it do that. My dear, of course you know Algernon has nothing but his debts to depend upon. But I do not approve of mercenary marriages. When I married Lord Bracknell, I had no fortune of any kind, but I did not dream for a moment of allowing that to stand in my way. I suppose I must give my consent.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
Cecily, you may kiss me.
Thank you, Lady Bracknell.
You may also address me as Aunt Augusta for the future.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
The marriage, I think, had better take place quite soon.
Oh, thank you, Aunt Augusta.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
To speak frankly, I don't approve of long engagements. They give people the opportunity of getting to know one another's character before marriage, which I think is never advisable.
I beg your pardon for interrupting, Lady Bracknell, but this engagement is quite out of the question. I am Miss Carter's legal guardian, and according to the terms of her grandfather's will, she cannot legally marry until she comes of age without my consent. That consent is absolutely declined to give.
Upon what grounds, may I ask? Algernon is an extremely, I may almost say ostentatiously, eligible young man. He has nothing, but he looks everything. What more could one desire?
It pains me very deeply to have to speak the truth to you, Lady Bracknell, about your nephew. But the fact is, I don't approve at all of his moral character. I suspect him of being untruthful.
Untruthful? My nephew Algernon?
Yes, I'm afraid there can be no possible doubt about the matter. This afternoon, during my temporary absence in London, he obtained admission to my house by means of the false pretense of being my brother. He succeeded in the course of the afternoon alienating the affections of my only ward. He subsequently stayed to tea and devoured every single muff. And what makes his conduct all the more heartless is that he knew very well from the first that I have no brother, not even of any kind. That I've never had a brother, and I certainly have not the smallest intention of ever having one in the future. I distinctly told him so myself yesterday afternoon.
Mr. Worthing, after careful consideration, I have decided to entirely overlook my nephew's conduct toward you.
Well, my decision, however generous you often may be, remains unalterable. I decline to give my consent.
Come over here, dear. How old are you?
I've just turned 18.
18. Well, it will not be long before you are of age and free from the restraints of tutelage. I do not think, therefore, that your guardian's consent is, after all, a matter of any importance.
Pray excuse me for interrupting again, Lady Bracknell, but I think it is only fair to tell you that, according to the terms of